Hi everyone, this is Dr. Subhatra. In today's class, we'll be seeing about the components of railway track. The first one is a ballast. It is a granular material which is usually seen as a broken stone. Normally we'll be using the coarse aggregate of size around 20 mm to 65 mm. This is a picture showing the ballast in a railway track. And coming to sleepers, they are the members generally laid in a transverse to the rail, on which the rails are fixed to transfer the load from the rail to the ballast and the subgrade. I'll show you that in the picture. See, in this picture, this is the ballast, and above the ballast is a sleeper. Sleepers are laid in transverse direction between the rails. So the load transfer mechanism is the load from the train will be transferred to the rail. From the rail, the load will get transferred to the sleeper. From the sleeper to the ballast, and the ballast will transfer the load to the sub-ballast and the subgrade beneath. Okay, so the main function of the ballast is to transfer the load from the sleeper to the sub-ballast. This is what is mentioned here, is to transmit the load from the sleeper to the formation layer. Coming to sleeper, they are laid in a transverse direction to the rail. Its main function is to transfer the load from rail to the ballast and then to the subgrade. The rails are the two parallel lines over which the trains will move, and below that rail, to maintain the distance, we'll be providing sleepers in a transverse direction. There are different types of rails. One is double-headed, flat-footed and bull-headed, based upon the shape of the rail. When you see the cross section of a rail, it will be in the shape of an I section. Okay, where for an I section, we will be having a top flange, bottom flange, and the middle portion is the web. When the rails having the head and the foot of same dimension, we'll call it as a double-headed rail. So this is the picture showing the double-headed rail. This is a cross section of a rail. It is in the shape of I. This is the top flange, this is the bottom flange, and the middle one is a web portion. Both the top flange and the bottom flange are in the same size. So it is called as a double-headed rail. The main advantage in this double-headed rail is after some duration, after some wear and tear, we can just invert that rail, that is upside down. The bottom flange can be made to act as made to come in the top flange position and the top to the bottom portion. And coming to the flat-footed rail, the bottom flange will be in a flat shape as shown in the figure. The top flange is in the same shape as the double-headed, but the bottom flange is in a flat shape. Here in that case, you cannot invert that rail from top to bottom and bottom to top. This is bull-headed rail. In that bull-headed rail, you can see the top portion is big and the bottom portion is very smaller one when compared to the top flange. Sleepers are the members which will be laying in a transverse direction. It may be made of different materials. It may be of wooden or metal or concrete. The wooden sleeper size may vary from 2.4 meter long, 200 mm width, and the thickness is 100 mm in thickness. So here in the picture it is shown as the concrete sleeper, and the metal sleepers are made by means of cast iron or mild steel. For making all these connections, we need rail joints. Okay, this picture shows what are all the fixtures and fastenings needed. This is an I section. This is the rail, and the rail is connected to the chair. This portion is the chair. Chair is connected to the sleeper by means of chair bolt. Between the chair and the rail, and the crown portion of the rail, we'll be providing the key portion. This is a key block. Okay, then to connect this rail, we'll be using fish plate. To connect that, we need fish bolt. So these are the various component parts and the fixtures and fastenings which is used to fix the rail, because we won't get the rail in a single length. Around 11.6 to 12 meters only we'll get that each length of a rail. To connect that two pieces, we need fish plate, fish bolt, and to connect that rail with the sleeper, we need chair and the chair bolt. Okay, to make it as to maintain the grip, we need key portion. Okay, this is the real picture which is available in the railway track. This is the rail, fish plate is there, fish bolt is there. To connect that rail with the sleeper, we'll be using chair. And these are the fasteners in which the rail is connected to the sleeper, that is a concrete sleeper beneath, and this coarse aggregate portion is the ballast portion. This is the side chairs. This is in the shape of chair, that is the L shape. So we are calling it as slide chairs. This is the junction plate which connects the two rails, and a gap is seen here. We'll see this the purpose of this gap in detail in the further classes. And coming to the point of crossing, crossings are also called as a turnouts. To change the direction of train from one direction to another direction, we want turnouts. The turnouts may be of either left hand or it may be of right hand turnout. In this picture, I have shown the left hand turnout. In this left hand turnout, we have two rails. This is one stock rail and this is another stock rail. Okay, and to connect this stock rail with you need a tongue rail. This stock rail and tongue rail are connected by means of check rail and wing rail. This darker portion is the check rail, and here also you will have the check rail. And on both the inner side you can see that wing rail. Okay, this is the outer curved lead rail and this is the inner curved lead rail. Both these are curved. This is inner straight lead rail and this is outer straight lead rail. The train is moving in this direction. This is the facing direction. This is the change in direction. Instead of going in a straight path, it is changing the direction in this turning. So this junction place, we'll call it as throw off switch. These two rails, the gap between these two rails is called as the throw off switch. And the joining position, joining place, we'll call it as a tongue rail. Okay, these parts are very important, and this portion is called as a throat portion. This V-shaped, it's like a notch, right? This is called as a rail throat. So either we can make the turnout in left direction or in a right direction. If the curvature is in the opposite direction, we'll call it as a right hand turnout. In the next class, we'll see about the components of the railway track. Thank you.